On our broadcast tonight, off a cliff, temperatures diving 40 degrees in some spots, dramatic weather moving from west to east and causing some big problems along the way. Stranded in the Florida Everglades, dozens of pilot whales trapped in shallow water as a rescue mission is now underway tonight to set them free. The journey home for wounded Americans in Afghanistan tonight, Richard Engel with the servicemen and women on board the first flight to safety. And making a difference, a woman who quietly saved up a fortune, then did something that surprised the entire town. Nightly News begins now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
Good evening. If you're watching us from the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas tonight, you can be prepared to watch temperatures drop 40 degrees in just about 24 hours. If you're to the east of there, this may be a preview of what to expect. And if you live where it's warm, you'll be the envy of the rest of the nation over the next few days, as a big, cold, and crawling weather system is about to cause a whole lot of trouble, as the weather is apt to do when winter takes hold. It's already bad in the Rockies, and we'll begin there tonight with NBC's Miguel Almaguer in Denver. Miguel, good evening.
Brian, good evening. It never rose above 10 degrees in Denver today. Early this morning with the wind chill, it felt like it was -10, bone-chilling temperatures. And although it was bad here, there are other sections of the country that have it even worse.
From whiteouts to wipeouts, the big chill impacting 33 million Americans is bringing a brutal mix of snow, ice, and sub-zero temperatures to 27 states. Near Duluth, Minnesota, nearly 3 feet of snow in 2 days.
It's going to be a white Christmas.
The Arctic blast burying cars. Conditions like these on the roads claiming at least 6 lives. By Friday, it could be 20 degrees below zero.
If you're going to stay home and wait for it to warm up, you'll be here in June.
Tonight, states from California to Mississippi to Kentucky are bracing for pockets of record cold.
We haven't seen anything like this for a while this early in the season.
Across much of the West, temperatures could plummet 40 degrees below normal. In Denver, it went from nearly 60 degrees to 6 in 1 day. Perfect for the polar bear at the zoo, not so ideal for this snowplow.
Got icy snowpacked roads. With an army of plows working around the clock in the Denver region, it is all hands on deck to keep the roads clear for the evening commute.
In Utah, the freeway's a nightmare. More than 300 accidents today alone. In Minnesota, at least 175 crashes since midnight. The deep freeze is even crippling California's citrus crop.
They'll go bitter on you fairly fast if they're frozen hard.
85% of the fruit in this multi-billion-dollar industry is still on the tree. They could lose it all in an overnight freeze.
Worst case scenario, we'll lose about $2 billion worth of product. We'll have unemployment totaling somewhere around 15,000 people.
A winter blast battering half the country, and tonight threatening to paralyze even more of the nation.
Across this region, warming centers are opening for folks who don't have heating. Police are doing door knocks on the elderly to check on their welfare. And Brian, it's only going to get colder.
Miguel Almaguer starting us off from Denver tonight. Miguel, thanks. Weather Channel meteorologist Mike Seidel cannot catch a break. He's still out in the midst of it tonight in Duluth, Minnesota. Hey, Mike, good evening.
Hey, Brian, another wild day here on the shores of Lake Superior. 20 inches of snow so far, 45-mile-an-hour wind gust. We'll get a few more inches tonight. It winds down, and then it's into the ice box. Take a look. Thursday's highs, just about all of Montana, sub-zero cold. Wind chills at 30 below zero. Only 9 in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And then on Friday, it's even colder. Frigid Fargo only gets up to 5 below zero. This Arctic air is on the move. Follow the blue blob. Temperatures nosediving near 80 today in Dallas. Nearly 50 degrees colder Friday afternoon. This cold air will undercut the Gulf moisture. That's the perfect setup for ice. And we've got ice issues. And this will lead to tree and power line damage in that blue shaded area. This includes Dallas, Memphis, and Little Rock. This could mean power could be out for at least several days. And Brian, it's going to stay very cold for the season into early next week. Not a good time to lose your power and your heat. Also, there will be widespread travel impacts going into Friday and Saturday in the Deep South.
All right, Mike,
Brian?
we'll keep an eye on it. Mike Seidel in snowy Minnesota tonight. Mike, thanks. It has been almost a year since the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. 20 children, 6 adults were killed in that massacre. Today, after a fight by families to keep them private, the 911 calls from inside the school on that day were made public. NBC News has chosen not to broadcast the tapes. Our chief education correspondent, Rahema Ellis, did listen to them today to see if they reveal anything new. Rahema, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. A judge ruled just last week that while these calls could be a searing reminder of the horror on that awful day, they could also serve to support the professionalism and bravery of the adults involved. Though the 7 recordings made public include very little new information about what happened, what struck me was how calm everyone seemed during this ordeal. Still, when you look at the faces of those innocent people killed in less than 6 minutes, 20 children and 6 adults, you understand why the release of the 911 calls is not only so sensitive for those who lost loved ones, but also for the entire Newtown community. On the recordings, we heard from 2 teachers calling from their classrooms. One had been shot in the foot. Both sounded remarkably calm in front of the children. We also heard from a custodian who stayed on the line with police through the ordeal. You could hear gunshots in the background as he spoke, but what you did not hear was chaos or screaming or children's voices. And Brian, while many parents did not want these tapes to be released, I did speak with one father who wanted to listen to them. And he told me there was nothing that shed light on what happened that awful day, but he said it did show to him that the dispatchers did all they could that day.
Of course, it makes a tough time tougher as the anniversary approaches. Rahema Ellis, thank you for that. There is a late development tonight in a story a lot of us woke up to this morning about a stolen truck containing radioactive material. It is on its way now from a hospital in Tijuana to a disposal site near Mexico City. Tonight, the truck has been found near the gas station where it was stolen, and the critical cargo known as Cobalt-60 has been recovered. Mexican officials describe its radioactivity now as, quote, low intensity. The commuter train derailment in New York City this weekend has thrust the topic of worker fatigue into the news. The investigation, as you may know, is now focused on the engineer and whether he fell asleep 2 weeks into a new shift and a 5 a.m. start. Everyone gets tired. Every shift has its own rhythms. But we ask more of those who drive and fly us around, especially those in public transportation. We get our report tonight from NBC's Tom Costello.
In the first minutes of Sunday's emergency response, engineer William Rockefeller told police he'd zoned out just before the crash. His attorney said he was in a daze situation. A union rep says he nodded out. Different descriptions for what sleep researchers say sounds like a sleep attack.
When sleep intrudes involuntarily into the waking brain and seizes control of the brain, so that the person who is doing their best to try to stay awake is overcome by exhaustion and fatigue.
Whether it's on the rails or on the road, an attack is usually the result of sleep deprivation. Researchers estimate 2 million people nod off at the wheel each week. Sleep is thought to be a factor in 7,500 traffic fatalities each year, and likely contributed to the Bronx bus crash that killed 15, the Colgan Air crash that killed 50, and a freight train accident in Iowa in 2011 that killed 2. At the NTSB lab today, we talked to Chairman Debbie Hersman.
Fatigue has been an insidious problem, particularly in the rail industry. We've seen many freight rail, passenger rail, and commuter rail accidents where fatigue has been a factor. Sometimes working split shifts on the commuter side, sometimes working around the clock on those freight operations, working through the night.
The NTSB has pushed for technology fixes, including video recorders in train cabs and positive train control automatic braking systems. Over industry objections, positive train control is set to become mandatory in 2 years. Tonight, the NYPD and prosecutors are asking a difficult question.
There is a collaborative effort to determine if, in fact, this rises to the level of criminality.
Whether falling asleep on the job is criminally negligent. Tom Costello, NBC News, Washington.
And we mentioned this at the top of the broadcast. There's a massive rescue mission underway tonight off the coast of Florida to rescue dozens of stranded pilot whales. Mark Potter has a late report for us tonight from Everglades National Park.
Our journey to find the stranded whales began in the backcountry of the Everglades National Park, where we sped through creeks and bays to get to the Gulf of Mexico. There, in an area known as Highland Beach, we came upon scientists and park officials tending to a pod of pilot whales, perilously close to shore. The whales were discovered by a fishing guide Tuesday afternoon, and scientists from NOAA arrived this morning to find 51 whales, 6 of them already dead, 4 others so stressed and dehydrated they had to be euthanized.
Some of those animals might stay with their ill podmates rather than swim out into deeper waters.
All day long, veterinarians in boats have been surrounding the whales, trying to corral them and to keep them from swimming even closer to shore. Right now, the scientists are taking advantage of the high tide on this sandbar to try to move the whales off into deeper water before the tide turns and the whales are once again stranded. But a big problem, officials say, is that the whales now face a virtual obstacle course of sandbars stretching 20 miles toward the much deeper water where they are normally found. In recent years, there have been other whale strandings in Florida, including this one 2 years ago near Key West. 23 whales were stranded then, and most died. While rescuers say the prognosis for most of the whales now is not good because they're too dehydrated and weak to be saved, they hope at least some of them can eventually be guided back to open water. And now that night has fallen, the rescue workers have come back to the dock for safety reasons, but we're told they will be going back out tomorrow morning. Brian?
Mark Potter in the Florida Everglades for us tonight. Mark, thanks. President Obama today called for a hike in the minimum wage to help with a dangerous and growing income gap, which he says and has said repeatedly is eroding the American dream. One recent study found almost all the economic gains since the end of the recession have gone to the very top, the 1%. Tomorrow, we'll be covering a job action among fast food workers in upwards of 100 cities across the country who plan to walk off the job to protest low wages. Still ahead for us tonight, getting out alive. Richard Engel with wounded American troops on the journey to safety out of Afghanistan, including one who heroically risked his life to save others. And later, the moment the first dog got a little too excited making a new friend, and what followed today at the White House.
Here's a question for you. If every U.S. home replaced one light bulb with a compact fluorescent bulb, the energy saved could light how many homes? 1 million? 2 million? 3 million? The answer is 3 million homes. By 2030, investments in energy efficiency could help Americans save $300 billion each year. Take the energy quiz. Energy lives here.
Oh, homemade soup.
Yeah.
Campbell's home-style soup with farm-grown veggies.
Just like yours.
And roasted white meat chicken.
Just like yours.
You'll think it's homemade.
I love the show.
Try Campbell's home-style soup.
When I first felt the diabetic nerve pain, of course I had no idea what it was. I felt like my feet were going to sleep. It progressed from there to burning, to like 1,000 bees that were just stinging my feet.
It's known that diabetes damages nerves. Lyrica is FDA approved to treat diabetic nerve pain. Lyrica is not for everyone. It may cause serious allergic reactions or suicidal thoughts or actions. Tell your doctor right away if you have these, new or worsening depression, or unusual changes in mood or behavior, or swelling, trouble breathing, rash, hives, blisters, changes in eyesight including blurry vision, muscle pain with fever, tired feeling, or skin sores from diabetes. Common side effects are dizziness, sleepiness, weight gain, and swelling of hands, legs, and feet. Don't drink alcohol while taking Lyrica. Don't drive or use machinery until you know how Lyrica affects you. Those who have had a drug or alcohol problem may be more likely to misuse Lyrica.
Having less pain it's a wonderful feeling.
Ask your doctor about Lyrica today. It's specific treatment for diabetic nerve pain.
Hey, Kevin. Still eating chalk for heartburn? Try new Alka-Seltzer fruit chews. They work fast on heartburn and taste awesome.
These are good.
Told ya.
Feeling better already?
New Alka-Seltzer fruit chews. Enjoy the relief.
We're back, and with all the talk of late about America's longest war and when the U.S. is leaving Afghanistan, it's so important to remember there are still tens of thousands of American troops in harm's way. Over the past 12 years, 51,000 U.S. service members have been injured in Iraq and Afghanistan, and sadly, that figure continues to rise. Tonight, our chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel takes us aboard the first flight to safety on the long journey home.
The journey home for wounded troops began at 2 a.m. at Bagram Air Base. 18 patients loaded onto a massive C-17. Marine Corporal Michael Hall from Marietta, Georgia, insisted on walking aboard. It's a struggle. Hall was hit by a rocket a week ago. Shrapnel in his neck nearly severed his spine. Soon, it's time to go. 8 hours to Germany. Hall thought about the Marines he was leaving in Afghanistan.
I don't want to leave them out there. And then I'm going home. I'm going to be home for Christmas. And they're not.
Specialist Clarissa Siller, with a back injury, cuddled a bear her husband gave her. The in-flight meal? Rations. As dawn broke, nurse Michelle O'Connor tried to lift spirits. She baked an apple pie, gave Hall a slice. On the ground, the patients go to Landstuhl Medical Center. Care has come a long way since 9/11. Doctors say 99% of troops who lived through their initial injuries now survive.
We'll get you up to a chair today.
Dr. Jerry Fortuna estimates he's done 1,000 surgeries on U.S. troops.
All these guys are super positive. They're special individuals. They know they're getting quality, world-class care. They know they're going to do well when they get out of here.
Corporal Hall was doing well.
Make your ankle go all the way back.
He's lucky to be alive. Hall was with another Marine when that rocket exploded 5 feet away.
He heard it and looked up, and I was like, that's not what you want to do.
Hall tackled the Marine to shield him from the blast.
I just went, you know, he was from me to you away, and just lunged at him. And when I did that, that's when the round impacted.
And that Marine whose life Hall may have saved, this is him, Niko Vitchev. He was at Landstuhl 2, came in on another flight. Hall didn't even know he was here.
What's up, buddy?
This is the first time they've seen each other since Afghanistan.
I don't even remember him tackling me, but I'm sure that's something, you know. I could have.
You were just standing there.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't know what to do.
I didn't know what was going on.
Hall and Vitchev are on the mend. But every day, new flights arrive with new injured. Richard Engel, NBC News, Ramstein Air Base, Germany.
And we're back in just a moment with a big real-life promotion for a woman who was once the inspiration behind a Hollywood movie.
I'm Beth. And I'm Michelle, and we own the Paper Cottage. It's a stationery and gift store. That's cute, what's that? Anything we purchase for the Paper Cottage goes on our ink card.
So you can manage your business expenses and access them online instantly with the game-changing app from Ink.
We didn't get into business to spend time managing receipts. That's why we have Ink.
We like being in business because we like being creative. We like interacting with people.
So you have time to focus on the things you love. Ink from Chase. So you can.
I have low testosterone. There, I said it. See, I knew testosterone could affect sex drive, but not energy or even my mood. That's when I talked with my doctor. He gave me some blood tests, showed it was low T. That's it. It was a number.
Today, men with low T have Androgel 1.62% testosterone gel, the #1 prescribed topical testosterone replacement therapy. Increases testosterone when used daily. Women and children should avoid contact with application sites. Discontinue Androgel and call your doctor if you see unexpected signs of early puberty in a child or signs in a woman, which may include changes in body hair or a large increase in acne, possibly due to accidental exposure. Men with breast cancer who have or might have prostate cancer, and women who are or may become pregnant or are breastfeeding should not use Androgel. Serious side effects include worsening of an enlarged prostate, possible increased risk of prostate cancer, lower sperm count, swelling of ankles, feet, or body, enlarged or painful breasts, problems breathing during sleep, and blood clots in the legs. Tell your doctor about your medical conditions and medications, especially insulin, corticosteroids, or medicines to decrease blood clotting. In a clinical study, over 80% of treated men had their T levels restored to normal. Talk to your doctor about all your symptoms. Get the blood tests. Change your number. Turn it up. Androgel 1.62%.
I have a big meeting when we land, but I'm so stuffed up I can't rest.
NyQuil Cold and Flu liquid gels don't unstuff your nose.
They don't?
Alka-Seltzer Plus Night fights your worst cold symptoms, plus has a decongestant.
Oh, what a relief it is.
Your eyes, even at a distance of 10 miles, the length of 146 football fields, they can see the light of a single candle. Your eyes are amazing. Look after them with Centrum Silver, multivitamins with lutein and vitamins A, C, and E to support healthy eyes, and packed with key nutrients to support your heart and brain too. Centrum Silver, for the most amazing parts of you.
As the holiday season unfolds, the possibilities are truly endless, especially with a gift card from Raymore and Flanagan. The magic of style transforms any room. Get your friends and family what they're really wishing for. A brand new sofa, a beautiful dining room, a comfortable new mattress. Help make holiday dreams come true, maybe even your own, with a gift card.
For the holiday,
from Raymore and Flanagan.
Two names say it all.
Newsweek magazine, a great brand name in the news business for many decades, is coming back in print after disappearing last year. It had 3.3 million readers at its height, and it was weekly competition, of course, for Time. That was before multiple ownership changes and a move to the web. This new print version will be sent out on a subscription-only basis starting after the first of the year. Mike Tomlin, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, made a very expensive misstep a few weeks back. Watching a play develop behind him on the Jumbotron, the Baltimore Ravens rocket-powered kick returner Jacoby Jones screaming down the sidelines. Tomlin stepped in front of him. Jones was then tackled, and the NFL ruled today that was over the line. They've hit Tomlin with a $100,000 fine. It could still cost the team in the next NFL draft. Well, who among us can forget Maverick and Goose and Iceman and that Kelly McGillis character in the leather flight jacket, the woman with the call sign Charlie? Well, now it can be told the basis for the female lead in Top Gun was none other than Christine Fox, the very real defense analyst who was named acting Deputy Defense Secretary today, making her the highest-ranking woman ever to serve in the Pentagon, and there's nothing fictional about that role. The Canadian national image of unfailing politeness and civility has admittedly taken a bit of a hit of late with the Rob Ford saga unfolding in Toronto. But it's clear that Canadian spirit is still alive and well. Catherine Jones bought a lottery ticket at Shoppers Drug Mart in Ontario last year and promptly lost the ticket. It was the winning number. It paid off close to $50 million. Canadian lottery officials tracked her down. They proved she bought the ticket. They verified her purchase and then awarded her the unclaimed jackpot. A touch-and-go dog incident at the White House today. It all began with a startle, and then it ended, luckily, with warmth and affection. Sunny, sister of Beau Obama, was just greeting a little girl when she knocked her over. Mrs. Obama, as you see, was right there on the case. And then when little girl and shopping bag got right side up, all was well. There were kisses all around, pats on the head. Then they bonded, and then some. Crisis more than averted. When we come back, the secret millionaire making a difference very close to home.
She's always had a playful side, and you'd love her for it. But your erectile dysfunction? That could be a question of blood flow. Cialis Tadalafil for daily use helps you be ready anytime the moment's right. You can be more confident in your ability to be ready. And the same Cialis is the only daily ED tablet approved to treat ED and symptoms of BPH, like needing to go frequently or urgently. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and medications and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sexual activity. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss in hearing or vision, or if you have any allergic reactions such as rash, hives, swelling of the lips, tongue, or throat, or difficulty breathing or swallowing, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Ask your doctor about Cialis for daily use and a 30-tablet free trial.
This is George. The day building a playset begins with a surprise twinge of back pain and a choice.
Take up to 4 Advil in a day, or 2 Aleve for all-day relief.
That's handy.
The rhythm of life. Where do you hear that beat? Campbell's Healthy Request Soup lets you hear it in your heart. Heart healthy, great taste. Sounds good. Campbell's Healthy Request. Good.
Update to comfort that's unique to the way you sleep. Update to the latest iComfort sleep system by Serta. Featuring our first memory foam with dual action gel technology. Update to the iComfort sleep system by Serta.
Anyone have occasional constipation, diarrhea, gas, bloating?
Yes.
One Phillips Colon Health probiotic cap each day helps defend against these digestive issues with 3 strains of good bacteria. Live the regular life. Phillips.
Maybe you've noticed. Is there a lot of worry building up around a daily problem? Well, ladies, now there's big news in controlling your overactive bladder symptoms. Thinking less about them. With new Oxytrol for Women. It's a patch, the first and only over-the-counter treatment for overactive bladder. It's good to know how to put the control back in your go. New Oxytrol for Women. See this Sunday's newspaper for a $5 coupon.
At News 4 New York, sometimes you deliver the best news. Well, we like you too. Share the like on Facebook.
Making a Difference. Brought to you by new Oxytrol for Women.
And finally tonight here, our Making a Difference report. This one involves a small town, a woman who lived there for many years, and a secret that turned out to be worth a fortune. Her story tonight from NBC's Harry Smith.
Simsbury, Connecticut is a classic New England town whose roots date back to the 1600s. When Kathleen McGowan, a long-retired first-grade teacher here, died a couple of years ago, she was remembered fondly.
She loved the little kids, and that was where she really put her energies because she built a foundation for them, for their education, for the rest of their lives.
Tara Donahue Willerup serves on the Simsbury Board of Ed.
She was all about giving, not getting. She just cared and loved what she did.
Single all her life, McGowan lived simply with her twin brother Bob in the house their parents left them. But no one in Simsbury knew that Kathleen McGowan had a secret, a very big secret. Turns out McGowan was a millionaire several times over, and when she died, most of that money went to the institutions she loved, including the Simsbury Public Schools.
You just couldn't believe that she'd have that kind of money to give.
Kathleen herself didn't even know how much she was worth.
She thought she had at that time approximately $40,000.
Attorney Lou George soon found, though, Kathleen was rich, really rich. Blue chip stocks her family had held for more than 50 years, war bonds from the 1940s. Their father had left the McGowans well set, but it looks like the twins rarely, if ever, touched their inheritance.
She was very unassuming and a very humble individual, lived a very modest life, and the money was not a priority to her.
More than a dozen institutions will benefit from the McGowan's thrift, including St. Mary's Catholic Church. Her bequest, $374,000.
When I heard that amount, I was literally astounded. I'm very proud of you.
A difference maker for the busy parish, says Father Frank Matera.
She's going to affect the future of our parish. If you make a mistake today, it's all right.
As the children of St. Mary's study their catechism and prepare for Christmas, no doubt they will also learn that it is more blessed to give than to receive. Harry Smith, NBC News, Simsbury, Connecticut.
And that's our broadcast on a Wednesday night. Thank you for being here with us. Of course, this night is better known around these parts at 30 Rock as the night they light the tree out back, with thousands clogging the streets and the plaza to get a glimpse on this thankfully mild night here in New York. I'm Brian Williams. We, of course, hope to see you right back here tomorrow evening. Good night.